So you may or you may not have a bucket list. If you don't, simply put, a bucket list is something that you have in your mind or an accomplishment that you want to achieve that you decide that you're going to do it at some point in your life. I have a bucket list. It has a few items in it, approximately 11 or 12. Roughly, those things on my bucket list are to retire at a certain age, and then there's a series of things that I want to buy. So then there's a series of things that you can accomplish and things that you can buy on your bucket list. I think this is interesting. So about 6 months ago, I recognized I was going through my bucket list, which is basically the same stuff in here. Actually, I guess I got to add something in there. But there's a series of things in here. Half of them you can buy. Now, yes, you have to have the amount of money to afford to be able to do these things, right? And then there's things that you have to achieve, which I thought was really interesting. So let me go over some of the stuff that I have. So retire at a certain age. Then there's things that I want to buy, right? I want to go to WrestleMania. That's supposed to be this year, 35. Well, next year, the next WrestleMania. Go to a Super Bowl. Jump out of a plane. Drink a $1,000 bottle of wine. I don't know, because it sounds ridiculous. And go see Coldplay in concert. So roughly, each of those things, I could do Coldplay a couple $100, $1,000 bottle of wine. It's $1,000. Jump out of a plane. I don't know, $200, $300, $400 to jump out of a plane. Go to a Super Bowl, a couple $1,000, and go to WrestleMania. It could cost up to several $1,000s. It just depends on how I do that. So those are things that I could buy. So I should just do those like today. Yet for whatever reason, maybe there's a fear associated with it. Maybe I just don't want to spend that kind of money on it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's interesting. But then there's this other side of a bucket list, things that you actually have to achieve, things that money, I guess, could buy, but you have to also achieve it. So, in no particular order, own a majority share of an amusement park. I can own a minor stake in amusement parks because I do. Cedar Fair, which is traded on the market at FUN. Dinner with Vince McMahon is another one of them. You know, I have to achieve that. That's a hard thing to do. Rob doesn't just reach out to people and be like, yo, Zack Miller, I saw that you wanted to have dinner with me. Let's do this. I mean, maybe he does. $1 million a month. I have to achieve that. Help 100,000. This used to be businesses, but I've added people onto that because I've realized that it's not just businesses, it's people as well now. I'd like to give a graduation speech at my alma mater. One of them, it could be West Virginia University, or it could be Potomac Falls High School. If you're listening and you're associated with one of those places, hello, I'm here. I'm also not doing it for free because you guys charged me. Ha! That's more towards WVU. I want whatever I paid for my school to be paid for in my alma mater graduation speech. I think that's pretty fun. Why not do that, right? They pay someone else. Sell a business. Now, technically, I sold Startup Night, which was a part of a business, and then there's another business that I invested in that has been sold a couple of times, which is kind of a weird story. So maybe I've done that, maybe I haven't. I don't know. It's hard to kind of quantify that or verify have I done that or not. I'm going to say that I haven't, even though there's caveats by that. And then, of course, Iron Man was on here. Now I've signed up for an Iron Man again to do that. But it was interesting. Bucket list and people, you know, there's things that you can buy. And there's probably a fear factor associated with it. But then there is the earned. And I think that you should differentiate them and realize what are the things that you have to buy and what are the things that you earn. Right? And so start breaking that down and figuring out where they are on your list. So where, you know, hopefully all these things will be done by the end of 2019. It's possible. I'm not going to a Super Bowl next year. At least at this point I'm not. So that one won't happen. That one's kind of like probably the minor of those things, but it would be like a nice to go to type of thing. I don't know. What's on your bucket list? What's something that you want to do that you haven't done yet that you can buy? What's something on your bucket list that you want to do that you can achieve, right? And do you break them down like that? I think it's a really interesting way to think about it, and something that, for me, hopefully I start going through this list. No, I know I'll start going through this list, but I just have to start doing it. And obviously the Iron Man I'll do next year. Sell a Biz, time to be there. Graduation speech, that could be there. You know, a lot of these achieved ones could be done pretty soon. And then obviously if I can do some of those things, I should just do the other stuff. So break down your bucket list and figure out, are they things that you can buy or things that you can sell? So many people, so many individuals will talk about wanting to do something, writing it down, and then never doing it because they don't even know how to do it. If you want something bad enough, you will absolutely do it. I had George Bryant from the CivilizedCavemanCooking.com on the podcast yesterday. We recorded it. Obviously, it hasn't happened yet. You haven't seen it yet. But an amazing guy. And we were talking about a lot of different conversations with it. And it really, he was very inspiring, motivating about some of the stuff that he's gone through. And it's just like, just go after it, And we were talking about bucket list, and I can't remember if he had anything on his bucket list. But he has a lot of things that he wants to accomplish, and a lot of it has to do with just being like, "Yo, I can do this." And he came out and has discussed some of it. He's very transparent, and some of this stuff is absolutely incredible. Some of the stuff that he has gone through from gone through in his life and is now talking about them, is very transparent about them. So definitely be wanting to think about that. But a lot of it is in your mindset, right? It's saying, okay, I'm going to achieve this. I'm going to go after this. It's just like the Jen Sincero books, the how to be a badass and making money, how to be a badass as a person, whatever the books are. And then as George says, and then a lot of these people too, that if you really follow people that are figuring out their lives and making big impacts, is they don't allow their minds to control them in a negative way. They push through. And that's something else with the bucket list I think is so important, is you do not allow your mind to tell you no. Just got to push through it. So, what's on your bucket list? What do you want to do that you haven't done yet? What's something that you know that you can do, that you probably have on your bucket list that you need to do? Let's start checking those things off. I'll do them with you. I'll keep you updated as I do it. But look, folks, you want things to happen, you got to write them down, and you got to start building plans and actions to actually make it happen. Because otherwise, it'll just stay on a list, right? If you want action to happen, you got to create that action. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Let me know what's on your bucket list. You know what's on mine. If you can help me accomplish some of those things that I need to achieve, help me. Help me, please. Like the alma mater thing. I probably should just reach out to the school and be like, yo, give me $80,000. That's what I paid for your school. And I'll give your talk. Bam! Until next time, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Zach Miller here, and now Zach Miller out. Deuces.